Hello, BookTube. I had ambitious plans for starting off the week's BookTube videos. I had ambitious plans for today's videos on Monday, but I, here in 2021, in the 21st century, am beset by first century problems. I am in a dual battle of wills all day long. It is a bleak, rainy, sleety, cold day here in Boston. A black sky, no hint of sunlight at all. And that is causing not only the usual battle of wills between me and my little dog. My little dog, Frida, hates the rain. She hates the sound of it on the windows. She hates the thought of it. She hates the philosophical concept of it. She even hates wet pavement. And as a result, is putting up God's own struggle every time we go to the back stairs to go out for a little walkie poo. And yet she will not go in the house. I've told her over and over again, I know it offends your schnauzer sense of order, but you can go in the house. I will gladly pick up after you if you don't want to go outside. And so she is just caught in between, and that is forcing us to not fight, but fence wills all day long. And in addition to that problem that couldn't have been replicated in first century, my Wi-Fi, for some reason, doesn't like the rain, and never has. And when it's like this, when it's just sodden and miserable, the Wi-Fi tends not to work, or to work so slowly that it might as well be dial-up, in which case long, ambitious videos, or many long, ambitious videos, are probably out of the question. I myself am counting my blessings just a little today. It's a black, sleety day, perfect for curling up on the couch and reading, which is what I've been doing. I've done an enormous amount of reading so far today, and the day is still young. But I'm counting my blessings today because the weather models that I'm looking at look like there's a chance that Boston will get significant snow later this week, in just a couple of days. Significant snow. And that's bad. I hate significant snow. This looks like it may be the first, if it happens. Two of the models are saying that it will be a major snowstorm event, is what they call it, a major snowstorm for the Boston area. Two other models that are often accurate are saying that it won't be, that it'll be a dusting or a little bit of snow, but not a major thing. If it's a major thing, it will be Frida's first. Frida has never actually been, she's never actually dealt with a snowstorm that in one go gave snowstorm accumulations that were taller than her head. She doesn't know that can happen. and if two of the models, I admit the two models that are saying the larger accumulation are usually accurate. And if those two models are right, then the snowfall that's going to happen in a couple of days is going to total out well over Frida's head, well over her height. I don't know how she's going to react to that. Probably not well. So far in her little life, she has, I'm not going to say not noticed, because she's as smart as I am. I'm sure she's noticed. But so far she's decided not to care that snow on the ground is not that much different from rain. She draws a line between the two. I think because snow is less insistent. It's less personal. It's not fussing with her in quite the way that rain is. So she's perfectly willing to walk in the snow and in snowfall. It's only rain where she draws the line. So we shall see. We shall see what happens. We'll also see, naturally, since a part of me, a part of my heart now, is up at a very, very old house in Vermont. Now, naturally, I automatically think, not only how is this going to affect Boston, but how is this going to affect Vermont? That little, 90-minute difference on the road can make all the difference in the world in terms of weather outcomes. And it's entirely possible that Mark Richardson up in Vermont, the host of Richardson Reads here on BookTube, is going to get socked later this week with snow. It's entirely possible. Which I think would be the first time that he's been socked with snow in his new location. He moved from a great old farmhouse full of character in a beautiful natural setting to an even better old house in an even more beautiful natural setting. And I think this is the first time, if I remember correctly, this will be the first time that he's been socked by snow in this new location. So we shall see. I'm automatically thinking of both now, but that's going to happen later this week. That's not happening today. Today is just a battle of wills, both terrier and technological. So all of my greater plans for videos I had so many daydreams. Earlier this morning, I saw that Jason Harrigan at his new channel, Jason H, uh, posted a nice, long, rambly, chatty video about books, the kind of thing that I just love. And it immediately made me want to respond in kind, because I like Jason, I can go on. If I don't watch myself, I can go on at great length. So, but what's the point? What would be the point of such ambitions when the videos aren't going to upload? And when I've got a little 10-pound terror in the other room who's pouting. So I thought I would just do a quick mail haul instead, and that'll be our chat for today. We'll start with a magazine. We'll start with a periodical. This is Vanity Fair, which is often very, very good. Not the front, but the back, the big meaty articles in the back that they commission. Greg and Carter, who used to be the editorial poobah of Vanity Fair, until I believe he abruptly quit the magazine in its heyday. I mean, he quit Vanity Fair right on the doorstep of when it would have had 4 years of attacking Donald Trump nonstop, which is the kind of thing that Graydon Carter would have lived for in his days at Spy magazine. And that's when he quit. And I can't help but think that he quit in order to forestall being Me Too'd, being #MeToo. One way or another, he sort of established and then grotesquely exaggerated the amount of money that some authors could get for those feature articles. And as a result, you get the best stuff. You get great work if you offer great money. So Vanity Fair is still very much worth reading. Of course, you get giants as well. Annie Leibovitz does the cover photography. She can her photography. She is an immortal photographer, a great artist working among us today, and her work regularly appears for the price of an issue of Vanity Fair. Well, that's not bad. I looked through this issue for literary stuff. And that required me to wade through quite a bit that wasn't literary, quite a bit that, well, the kind of stuff that you're going to get in Vanity Fair. Let's see if we can come up with an example or two of that kind of stuff. Yes, here we go. Let's see, what is this little item? This right here. That hideous thing, that garbage bag with a hood, is something that you would wear on a day like today, on a rainy, sleety day like today. It is not waterproof. It is not even water resistant. It cannot be washed. It cannot be dry cleaned. You buy it once, you wear it once, and you get talked about wearing it once. I guess that it counts as a kind of coat of some kind, despite the fact that it's unbelievably hideous and not good actually for coating you from anything, for protecting you for anything. But even so, it can be yours for the low, low price of $2,180. So why not gobble it right up? But I did notice when I was thumbing through this a literary bit, a tiny literary bit, actually two, face to face. First, there was a full page color ad for Bridgerton, an adaptation of a great romance series that's going to be on Netflix. I hadn't seen a full page color ad of that yet, but there's a feature here called Grand Entrance. There's just a little side column highlighting, 4 debut novels that are coming out in 2021. I'm a big fan of debut novels, so I looked immediately at these. The first one is The Prophets by Robert Jones. The little description that's given here is a polyphonic novel with exactingly rendered characters about the love between two men enslaved on a Mississippi plantation. The novel is not polyphonic, of course, because like all novels, it will be silent. But nevertheless, that strikes me as interesting. I don't know that I've ever read a gay love story set on a plantation before. So the next one is Detransition, Baby. Detransition Baby by Tori Peters. A visceral, funny exploration of sex and gender through a triad of people, trans and cis, rocked by an unexpected pregnancy. And then we have A Crooked Tree by Una Mannion, an affecting story of the fissures formed in a Pennsylvania family following a nightmare car ride when a frustrated mother makes her daughter walk home alone. So upper middle class Pennsylvania divorce instead of Connecticut divorce. And finally, Hades, Argentina by Daniel Lodell. A New Yorker revisits his Buenos Aires past, med student days, a former crush, in this complex tale of guilt, love, and revolution. As far as I know, I don't have any of these 4 yet. But now I know to look forward to them. I mean, I look forward to all debut novels in 2021, but I'll have to check my piles and see. And of course, I'm hoping that the enterprising folks at the publisher reprint all the Bridgerton novels. That would be wonderful, especially if the series catches on and is popular. But that was Vanity Fair. The only other literary thing in here is the novelist Jasmine Ward interviews Barack Obama, and it's fairly well done. They're both fairly well talented, literarily speaking, so it comes off rather well. But no long, real pieces on the publishing industry or publishing scandals or forthcoming books or anything like that. Just a bit of literary stuff. And no, as far as I can tell, no literary reviews today. I don't know if that's going to happen later. I've been sort of keeping a hawkish eye on the mailbox because my mailman, for whatever reason, will not put my mail through the mail slot in the door, which was carved in the door for that purpose. Instead, he puts the stuff in the box, the mailbox, ratcheted to the side of the house. And on a day like today, that box practically fills with water. So we shall see. So I'm keeping a hawkish eye on the front door, where the mailbox is and where the mail slot is, to hope that my mailman will remember that I've asked him and that he's agreed innumerable times to put the mail through the slot so that no one has to worry about it. I'm keeping a hawkish eye on the front door. I'm also keeping a hawkish eye on the back of the house because I have a new platform of a kind of metal shelf right outside an easy window at the back of the house, right off the kitchen. And it occurred to me right away that I could put food out there. Maybe not for birds, but maybe for squirrels or raccoons or skunks or possums. They're all over the place here. And I did put out a little food, and I'm wondering if it's going to attract anybody's attention. Probably I picked the wrong day to do it. I don't think anybody's out and about today, except my sparrows. My sparrows are out and about today. They don't care about the weather. They're out at all hours, or at all weathers, all day long, every day. They don't migrate, they don't hibernate, they don't do anything like that. They're out and about. But squirrels and raccoons, they're probably burrowed for today, I would think. They've got fat deposits that they can live off for days like today. And who knows what kind of instincts they have for what's coming. Well, what I wouldn't give to be able to talk to a raccoon in the raccoon's own language and say, what do your senses tell you is coming? Are we getting a major storm? Is a major storm coming? We shall see. You'll be the first to know. But in addition to Vanity Fair, we also got a couple of packages of books. So let's see what we have here. So the first one is a finished copy. Finished copies give me the willies because they might be for 2020, in which case, I mean, the goal of every book, I would assume, and the goal of every writer, is to appear on my year-end best and worst books of the year list, which is ongoing right now on Steve Reads, on Open Letters Review. That list, the only definitive year-end list of books, is ongoing right now. And gearing up this week, we are gearing up for the big four. I mean, I do 15 or 16 categories, but the only four that anybody ever cares about in the publishing world or in the reading world are worst fiction, best fiction, worst nonfiction, and best nonfiction. And those are happening this week. So, but any finished copy that I get now that is a 2020 release is completely out of luck. So this doesn't actually have a pub sheet, so I don't know when this comes out. This is called Love's Shadow by Paul Beauvais. Rather subdued cover. Paul Beauvais is a distinguished professor of English at the University of Pittsburgh and the editor of Boundary 2, an international journal of literature and culture. His books include Intellectuals in Power, Mastering Discourse, In the Wake of Theory, and Poetry Against Torture. And this comes to me from the good folks at Harvard University Press. What have we got here? What is this? It sounds like he writes literary criticism. Oh God, the first two words of the jacket are literary criticism. All right. Well, I nailed that one. Much to my dismay, literary criticism and I don't get along, but let's see. Literary criticism is an agent of despair. I agree with that. It certainly will cause its fair share of despair. And its poster child is Walter Benjamin. Critics have spent decades stewing in his melancholy. What if, instead, we dared to love poetry, to choose comedy over Hamlet's tragedy, or to pursue romance over Benjamin's suicide on the edge of France, of Europe, and of civilization itself? The author challenges young lit critters. Lit critters! That's actually the phrase that the dust jacket uses. Lit critters! Right, well, you're working hard to make me like this wretched subgenre. The author encourages young lit critters to throw away their shades and let the sunshine in. This book is growing on me. Love's Shadow is his three-step manifesto for a new literary criticism that risks sentimentality and melodrama and eschews self-consciousness. Okay, all right. If you actually do that, you and I are going to be friends. That's why I left literary criticism. That's why I hate it and mock it endlessly, because of the shades. The first step is to choose poetry. There's been, since the time of Plato, a battle between philosophy and poetry. Philosophy has championed misogyny, while poetry has championed women, like Shakespeare's Rosalind. Poetry is ever so stringent. Try instead the sober cheerfulness of Wallace Stevens. The author's second step is to choose the essay. He praises Benjamin's great friend and sometimes antagonist Theodore Adorno, who gloried in writing essays, not dissertations and treatises. The third step is to choose love. If you want a Baroque hero, make that hero Rembrandt, who brought lovers to life in his paintings. Putting aside passivity and cynicism would amount to a revolution in literary studies. I agree with that. Good Lord, is this author seriously advocating that? This author seeks nothing less, and this is his program. Okay, that is our author. And I am on board. Well, I don't care when this is published. I am on board. Now, you heard Frida. Frida, where are you, baby? Frida? You heard that shaking noise was the beam. Do you want to come up and see your fans? Huh? I was talking about you. Oh. Here you are. I was talking about you and how you hate the rain. Yes. We're going to have to go out of it, though. I know. We're going to have to, though. You're not going to go in the house. So we have to go outside. We'll manage somehow. We don't have to be out for long. The nice thing about having a dog this smart is that when we go out in the pouring rain, she knows exactly why we're out, and she doesn't take any time. She goes straight to work to get back inside. Don't you? Because you're as smart as I am. Ears. Do you want to look out the window at your enemy? You want to look out at the rain? All right, so our first book, unbelievably intriguing. So I will go right to it. And the next one is a box. So probably another finished copy. So once again, I will be wondering when this came out and whether or not it really deserved a place on my year-end list. I always try to set a couple of books aside, the ones that get to me at the very end of December. There are books that come out at the very end of December. I always try to set a couple of those aside just in case I want to include them in next year's list. But next year's list is always so immediately full of stuff that that it crowds out last year's news. We will see. I will have to check the date. Oh my! Oh my! Oh, this is another example where I don't have a pub sheet, but I'm dying to know when this came out. Oh no! Okay, this is from Bloomsbury. Is that right? Are you from Bloomsbury? Wow. Okay, this is Sylvia Pankhurst, Natural Born Rebel by Rachel Holmes. This is an enormous biography of the great Sylvia Pankhurst. Look at the size of this thing. What if this is a 2020 release? If this is a 2020 release, well, biography's already up. The best biography of the year is already done. If I'm getting a great biography 2 weeks before the end of the year, I don't know what I can do about that. I'm not even going to... I'll have to check. I'll have to check and see what the release date on this thing is. Oh, man. Man, oh, man. Look at that. Fantastic. So much rather have a book like this than the 50,000th biography of Napoleon at the same length. So much rather. All right, well, let's see what we have here. It also has a cover bird from Vanessa Redgrave, which is just about as cool gets. Let's see here. I mean, you'd have the same kind of British theater cred if you had a cover blurb from Judi Dench, but we all know Judi Dench doesn't read books. That's oddly enough, even in this crowd, that's part of what makes her so cool. She would leave a blurb, but she wouldn't remember that she did it. But Vanessa Redgrave, I could picture her sitting down with a book. Let's see here. Born into one of Britain's most famous activist families, Sylvia Pankhurst was a natural rebel, a talented artist, prolific writer, and newspaper editor. A free spirit and radical visionary, history placed her in the shadow of her famous mother, Emmeline, and elder sister, Christabel. Yet Sylvia Pankhurst was the most revolutionary of them all. Sylvia found her voice fighting militantly for votes for women. Her commitment to equality caused her to serve multiple sentences in Holloway Prison, where she was tortured. The vote was just the beginning of her lifelong defense of human rights, from her early warnings of the rise of fascism in Europe, to her championing of the liberation struggles in Africa and India. Sylvia's adventures in America, Soviet Russia, Scandinavia, Europe, and East Africa made her a true internationalist. She was one of the great minds of the modern era, engaging with political giants, including Churchill, Lenin, Rosa Luxemburg. Rosa Luxemburg is considered, what was it? The great minds of the modern era. Oh my. George Bernard Shaw, W.E. Du Bois, and Haile Selassie. Her intimate life was no less controversial. The rupture between Sylvia, Emmeline, and Christabel became worldwide news. Her love affair with the married Keir Hardie was one of the great political romances of the age, and she never married her life partner Silvio Corio, with whom she had a son at the age of 45. Acclaimed biographer Rachel Holmes interweaves the personal and political to reveal Sylvia Pankhurst as never before. This major new biography celebrates a life in resistance, painting a compelling portrait of one of the greatest unsung political figures of the 20th century. Wow. Fantastic. Oh. All right, well, then the only question I have now is, what is the actual release date for the U.S. for this book, for either one of these things? They both sound absolutely fascinating. What a great mail haul. Now I just want to know, I mean, I'm going to read them anyway today, but well, this I will read today. My only question is, when are these 2021 releases in America, or do they have the horrible luck of being released in the last 2 weeks of December of the year? I don't understand that decision, but one way or another, that's our mail haul. Love's Shadow. A call for lit critters to throw away their shades and embrace sentimentality in their literary criticism. In other words, to love the books that they read and write about instead of to hate them, which would, if adopted, truly be a revolutionary approach to literary criticism. Imagine not hating the books you study in grad school. And a gigantic biography of Sylvia Pankhurst. How incredible. How incredible. So I'm very happy with today's mail, but I need to look up release dates. Okay, well, there you go. You had everything in this, right? You had digressions and mail and periodicals and even a glimpse of the bean. Now it's time for me to grapple with the bean. Now it's time for us to go outside. I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.